when it comes to rounding numbers, most people think of rounding as clicking onto the calculated cell, going over into their home tab and over into the number area and rounding it down. In other words, getting rid of the decimal places. But though you do this, something like this, where it basically eventually rounds up to 34,683, technically, visually, that's the value, but realistically, this is the real value that would be used if you're using this like maybe in a calculation. So we have a number of different formulas that we can surround our calculation with, and these are function formulas that will truly round it either up or down or take off the decimal places altogether without it rounding up or down, and where it truly is that value that you see. All right, so this is probably not the most exciting, aspect of the program. I think most people could care less about it. Their worksheets aren't that critical where they need to be, so accurate, down to, these decimal places. So it's not really that much of a concern. But I think if you find yourself in situations once in a while where you need to have an exact number, I mean, where it's like 0.00000 or whatever, okay, for your number. So a number of different calculations we're going to do. For the most part, the calculation is taking the total that we did over the 6 months for each of our reps and dividing it by 6. So we're just doing like an average, and we're coming up with these types of numbers. So let's look at rounding this calculation down to no decimal places, or down to 2 decimal places, all right? So what we do in this situation is, I mean, if we went to here and did this, it's going to look like that, but it's really still going to be this number here. So we're going to get it to where it's truly 34,682.67, and that's it, 67000. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go to here, we'll do our equal, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the round function. So we're going to type an RO, right, and we'll do there's our round, all right, and then within the parentheses, we'll do another set of parentheses, and we're going to do the calculation. So in this case, it's going to be taking this number here, divided by 6, just like that. We'll close it off. Now, we put a comma after it, and now what it wants to know, don't do a comma there, put a comma after it, and now it wants to know how many digits do you want to round it to, and all we want are just 2 digits, that's it. We do that, we'll close off the parenthesis, hit the enter key, there we go. Now, take a look at this. If I were to add more decimals, it's just zeros. So it truly is 0.67, and that's it. Okay? Now, once we have put that one in there, okay, then we can go ahead and we can copy that down and take care of the other ones there too. So they're all going to be the same as that. All right, now, we're going to do the next one here. And in this case, we're going to be rounding it down. So that previous one we did, that was, in essence, rounding it normally, which the normal thing would be to round it up. This is going to be rounding it down, okay? So we're going to end up with 0.66, see? So how do we do that? Well, again, we're going to type in equal. This time we're going to do RO, and you'll see round down, and we'll double click that one, all right? And then within that, same thing we did before, put another parenthesis, we're going to do this divided by 6, close it off, and then we're going to tell it, do a comma here, and then we're going to tell it how many digits. Again, this is going to be 2, close it off, enter it, and there's your 66. I mean, and again, if I were to go and put out further, see, it's all just going to be zeros in there. All right. So now I'll take that and we'll copy that one down. Now with this next one, we're going to round it to no decimal places. So we're going to end up with just a 682.0000000. So it's just going to be no, just nothing. It's going to be just chopped off basically, but rounded in the, down, okay, down to 0. So again, we're going to do equal, all right, and this is going to be RO again for round down. And we're going to do another parenthesis. We're going to take that number divided by 6, close it off, comma, and we're going to say 0 this time, see? And then we'll close that off, enter it in, and there we go. And that's what you get. So no decimal places. I mean, it's showing the decimals there just because of the what I did up here. But if I were just to kind of knock that off, there it is. But it's been rounded down, see? So pretty cool. All right, now the next one, we're going to be rounding it up 2 decimal places. So in this case, we're going to do the round up. So I'm going to type in equal RO. There's our round up. All right, and again, left parenthesis, we'll do our calculation. Take this guy, divided by 6, close it off, comma, all right, and then we say 2, all right. And then when we go to enter that in, see it's rounded it up, all right. So really not much difference between that and just plain old round, right? Round just has the natural tendency of rounding it up. This too will do the round up as well, and that. So it's almost like a redundancy of that as well. Now, just to prove it, I can go ahead and add, as many zeros as I want there, and it's going to give me the 0, 0 all the way out. So I'll copy that down. All right. Now here we're going to say round it up to 0 decimal places. So we'll end up with 34,683. Okay, so in this case, we'll go ahead and we'll hit our equal round up. So equal RO, we'll just do our round up. And we'll do another parenthesis. Take our number, divided by 6, close it off, comma, 0 decimal places, see? Enter that one in, and now that goes up instead of rounding it down, see? And all that. So there we go. Again, hopefully you're not falling asleep out there with it. But I think if you know all the different avenues, I'd be remiss if I didn't show you guys everything there was out there, that we can do within reason. And I think all of these are very pertinent, choices here. Now, this next one is going to be truncate. What it does is, regardless of the calculation and how many decimal places there are, it will just go out to 2 decimal places and just chop everything else off beyond that point. So it doesn't matter which way it was going up, if it have a tendency going down, it doesn't matter. Just boom, it chops it right off. So this might be an overlap with other functions that we have, but this one truly will take your calculations. So it'll truly take this one here and just go right to that second 6, and right after that, chop it right off. That's it. All right. So is it going to be kind of like this one? Sort of, but not really, because it depends on the numbers. I mean, this one truly just chops it right off. Forget it's I don't care what the calculation is, how far it goes out, just chop it off at 2. All right. So what we do here is we just do an equal TR, and you'll see trunk out there, and we'll just do a double click on that. Do another left parenthesis, do our calculation. So do that right there, right? Close it off, and then we're going to go ahead and put a comma, the number 2, and then close it off there, And there it is. It's chopped off. That's it. And we can go ahead and copy that down. Now, this last one is going to be a rounding called integer. INT is the name of the function. And this one, we surround the calculation with integer, and it just says, forget about decimals. Whatever the decimals are, just forget it. So it's almost like doing a trunk at 0, okay? So just, again, I know we've got overlap here, but it's just something that you can think about, you know, making your choice of as you're doing other calculations, other, you know, worksheets that you have, and you're thinking of this kind of thing. What's going to be your best choice? Well, I give you all the choices. You make up your own mind. All right. So in this situation, what we're going to do is we're going to do equal. All right. And we're going to do our IN, and you'll see INT up there. Right. Put another parenthesis in there. And actually, we don't even have to do that. We can just do the INT, and then within the INT, we'll do our calculation. So we'll just take this guy here, divided by 6, right? Close off the parenthesis there, hit the enter key, and that's it. All right, and then we can go ahead and copy that all the way down. So regardless of whatever the decimals were, it doesn't matter. It just chops it, and that's it. All right, so far we've done this, which I thought was kind of out there. As I was saying before, I think a lot of people really could care less about this stuff. So I'm going to take it a step further, and we're going to look at this floor ceiling type rounding. And what we have here are different products. We have certain costs associated with them. And then we have like the retail price. Not much of a markup here, all right? But we've got these numbers. So what's happened is the price is $10. The retail price is this amount, all right, what you see here. And what you want to do is just keep the price at a $5 increment, let's just say, all right? It's going to kind of trash this first one, but I want just to kind of see the overall idea here. So what I want to do is kind of round this number to, let's just say, the nearest $5 increment. All right. So a $5 increment would be like $5, $10, $15, that type of thing. Well, the nearest one in this case, for this first one, will probably be $10. So it kind of messes with that one, but the rest of them you'll see it a little bit better results. So anyway, we go to this cell, we do our equal, we do our MR, and we've got our MROUND. Okay, so we'll double click that one. All right, and all we're going to do is basically take our number, which is going to be here at C2, comma, and we're going to round it to the nearest $5 increment, all right? So we type in the number 5, enter that in, and you get 10, all right? Now, if we were to say, well, how about a $10 increment, you know, something like that. So if we went back there and changed it from a 5 to a 10, all right, we'd still get the 10 because obviously with that. So better yet, how about this? How about if we went with a $15 increment, right? So I'll type in 15, right? There's your 15, see? Now, the problem is with the next one, if we were to copy that down to here, then we're going to get 15 on that one. So there was a reason why I did the $5 one, but the problem with the $5 obviously is with the ones that are close to, you know, that even amount anyway. But anyway, I'll just put it back at 5, and then you can just see the results here. So we'll copy that down. Oop. And there we go. So there you have it. So how good is this? I don't know. Is it worthwhile using? I don't know. maybe for you, you'll run into a situation for it, but overall, I don't value it too much. Here we want to kind of establish a 5-cent floor. In other words, it'll kind of round it to the nearest nickel, let's say. All right, so let's take a look at this. If we go ahead and hit the equal, we'll do our FL for floor, all right? And we're just going to say that we want this to be rounded to the nearest nickel, let's say, right? So we'll do a comma, and we'll type in 0.05, right, for the nickel. Hit the enter key, and there we go. So I'll go ahead and copy this down, and you can see how the 11, you know, like the 53 turns into 50, the 23 turns into 20, the 77 goes down to 75. So, but those are all nickel type increments there. All right. Now this one kind of rounds it up to the nearest 25 cents. Okay. I know you're sitting there, you're going, oh my God, Chip, this is like really, this is kind of deep here. But like I said, who knows? Who knows who's going to use this? I mean, they have this built into Excel. Got to be a reason for it, right? Anyway, so we'll do our, in this case, we're going to do an equal CE, and you'll see ceiling, and we'll double click that one, right? And of course, we're going to be looking at C2 again, right? Comma, and here it's going to be 0.25, right? Enter that in, so 1175, see? So that's, I mean, the nearest would be 50, right? But it's up, it's the ceiling, so it's rounding it up in a way. And we go ahead and copy that down. And now this here, this one, next one. Now this is pretty wild. This one rounds it to the nearest 47 or 97 cents. Okay, so this is a great little, like a retailer thing where regardless of what their actual retail price calculates out to, they're going to change it to where it's either going to be 97 or 47. They've figured from psychological reports, from test marketing and all that, that 47 and 97 are like the key numbers there, right? So this is going to be a combination. This is a wild one here. This is a combination of using the floor and the ceiling functions, believe it or not. And I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of paste it in. This is available, just so you know, when you download this file, it's going to be available in this sheet here. You'll see it right in there, and you can take a look at it. But the formula, I don't want to waste your time, having to type this thing in, but I'll just put it in there for you. And that's what this one here is. So that's it. So what ends up happening is it's either going to do it if it's less than 50 cents, then it's going to go to 97. If not, it's going to go to 47. And it's a negative of that, but inverse of it. But the idea here is if you say, well, I don't want it to be 97 and 47. I want it to be 22 and 11 or something like that. Well, then, it'd probably be different. But you can put your own numbers in there if you wanted to. But I think at this point, most of you watching this are sitting there saying, you are ridiculous. There's no way anybody's going to use this one. Anyway, there it is, though. And we'll copy that down, and you can see the rest of them. Now, for this next one, this rounding function is going to round it, or I should say it's going to round it to no decimal places, but either to the nearest even number or to the nearest odd whole number. Okay, pretty wild. So in this case, if we did like an equal, typed in EV, there's your even, and we said, okay, make even this one right here. So we go ahead and enter that in, and we get 12. So the nearest even would have been $12. And of course, then we go ahead and copy that down. Of course, if we have even, then we also have odd. So if we go over to the odd one, we type in equal OD, all right, there's odd, all right, and again, go back over here, enter it in, rounds it to the nearest odd price. And we copy that down. So, I don't know. This one is questionable, but hopefully, maybe with what we did here, with the regular rounding, maybe some of these will click with you and you'll be able to use them in some of your worksheets that you've got, you know, different types of calculations, and they give you all these decimal places out there. So hopefully you can use it. But again, you know, thanks for watching the video.